y'all, and welcome back. Or if you're new around here, hello and welcome. My name is Katie Marie and I like to play with eyeshadows, and on my channel I do a lot of these where they're unedited, uncut videos where I just play with an eyeshadow palette, put it on my face, and don't do any cuts. So if you like quick pace, if you like, you know, a lot of cuts to make it interesting and whatnot, that's not really what I'm doing in this video. But in this video I am going to be playing from start to finish with the Gourmande Girls and Doodles by the Bunny Haunted palette. I really want to dive into this again. I've done a look already on my channel, but I want to play with it some more. I'm going to dive into a couple of the other tones that I didn't get to play with. So I'm going to play with that and just chit chat with you guys about things that I had to put on the back burner or that I had to give up this year, because there's just been, this year was a pretty crazy year, along with having a newborn, or not a newborn, but a young baby under 1 this year, and getting a dog at the same time, starting our homestead, having 3 other children. It's been a crazy year, so there's a lot of things that I was doing and would talk to you guys about, and then I just kind of had to drop and not touch it all for the entire year. So I thought that'd be fun and interesting to talk about, so that's what we're gonna do. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. I am wearing the Gourmande's Glam Light eyeshadow primer, and I am going to grab, what type of brush am I going to grab? I'm some type of packerish type brush. I love this brush, the E25. There's a smaller one, E35 I think it is, that I love even more, but this is also really great too. And I want to go into Horrified, this shade right here. It looks like it'll be nice, deep and dark. In my first look that I did, I used the black, which is a beautiful black, but I want to see how deep this shade can go all by itself. So let's start packing it on. I'm going to use it in the outer corner. I am going to a friend's or a family member's birthday party tonight, so I wanted to do a little bit of makeup. I took a shower, that's why my hair's wet, and I want to put on a little bit of makeup while the kids are still taking a nap and doing their quiet time. So we're sitting down to film this really quick, and one of the things that I gave up is my hair. I will link the video if I can remember and find it, but I did a video, oh gosh, a year and a half ago. We were still at the old house before we moved out to buy land and start a little homestead. So this was, yeah, over a year and a half ago, maybe even close to 2 years, but anyway, not that that matters. Long time ago, remember I did a whole video about how I discovered that I actually have curly or wavy hair, and I wanted to kind of like embrace it and bring out the curls and learn how to, you know, how to style curly hair, because my whole life I just treated it like straight hair and never did anything with it besides brush it and put some oil in it to keep the frizz down. But I don't know if it was with my last pregnancy or just never realized, but anytime I shower, and even now, I don't know if you'll be able to see, let me see, but I have quite the wavy pattern. Can we even see? I don't know, I didn't brush it, but anyway, not that that matters. But when I'm in the shower and then afterwards, as my hair is drying, whether I put in a towel or not, there is a significant wavy pattern to it. And so when I discovered that, I was like, that's really cool. I'd always wanted curly hair. I always thought curls and waves were so beautiful. So I set out and did a whole video about how I was going to go on a curly hair journey and figure out how to accentuate and bring out my curls. And I guess the good part about it is that I did learn how to do it, and the sad part is that's one of the things that definitely went on the back burner when I got pregnant with Sophia and we moved and all that. So again, it's been probably 2 years since I began that. I kind of figured it out, and then when I got pregnant I had really bad morning sickness, so that all went on the back burner. And then right after I was barely getting over the morning sickness, we moved. So ever since then, I kind of just haven't been able to do it. Let me take a pause really quick. Do I want to go really orangey on the inner corner? What do I want on the inner half? Yeah, I think I'm going to go orange. Should I go light? I'm going to go super light orange, this one, and then I think I'm going to blend this one in the outer half. I feel like that might be fun, instead of just going, because I was thinking about doing both oranges on the inner half and then both greens on the outer half, but I feel like that might be fun. We'll see. We're gonna try. I'm gonna start with the lightest one, Obsessed, I think it was. Such a nice formula. Anyway, that green, like, look how beautifully that blended out. So anyway, yeah, when that all happened, I kind of just had to put it on the back burner, and then just like one thing after another has happened, and I just have not been able to pick it back up. So like, I have all this stuff and I know what I can do, and when I have the time to do it, like, I can get really pretty, not curly like tight curls, but definitely wavy hair, like a soft wave type of, what was it? I used to know this. Was it a B2, like they have different stages. I think it might have been B2. Very soft wave, not much of like a tight curl, but a very soft little like curl pattern, and I loved it. I was having so much fun learning how to, you know, what products to use to make them stand out, how to help keep the frizz down, how to make it so they last and all that. And yeah, so that's the great part about it, is that I do know how, but I have definitely had to give that up in this stage of my life just because I don't have the time that I feel like you need to, or at least that I learned how to take care of them in order to make them like actually stand out and look healthy and not just like a frizz mess. Because yeah, I mean, with a shower afterwards, like I feel like the best way was to blow dry, which takes a long time, but even not blow drying, just putting all the products in, taking the time to scrunch it, to really get that pattern to show up and whatnot, and then putting the gel on, you know, maybe putting it up for like an hour or so to set on top of my head before I let it down. It takes time, and I just don't have that time. So maybe one day I can return to it. Like I said, I have all the products for it, but it has been since roughly I was pregnant with Sophia since I've taken the time to do it, just because I don't have that time in the mornings to do that anymore. I'm not going to go into that orange, I think. Yeah, no, I want something bigger. Let me go with a bigger type of brush. I'm going to do it very lightly on the outer edge, and maybe I'll take a more tiny brush inward, but I'm going to go into the darker of the two oranges. So yeah, that was definitely something I have to give up. I definitely miss, or like wish I could do it again, because I really, like I said, I liked being able to have curly hair. I feel like now my hair is just whatever it is when it dries and I brush it out and tie it. Like literally my 99% of the time, my hair is just tied at the back of my head. And that's all I do. And on the rare occasion I do something with my hair, it's to braid it. One single braid down the back just to keep it out of the way. I am just, the stage of my life, I just don't have time to do hair. Or if I have the time, like today, I would rather do my makeup than do my hair. So that's another reason why it's just kind of, you know, something I've let go, because when I do have the time, I would much rather play with some pretty colors on my eyes than take the time to do my hair. Because like, while I like hair, it definitely wasn't something that I enjoyed doing to the level of makeup. Makeup is just so much fun. It's definitely the thing that I still cram into the itty bitty little parts of free time that I have during my week to still do. And I mean, I used to do my makeup every single day, and now I definitely still do it several times throughout the week, but not every day. And I don't wear a full face of makeup every day like I used to. Anyway, sorry, I was reading a text. So I'm gonna go into this shade now, which is Cursed. And I'm gonna take it on, I forget what I use this on, but I'm gonna take this right here, and I'm just going to help it kind of mesh the two together. I don't know if in the camera you'll be able to tell, but there's a significant difference in color between the lighter orange or yellow and that orange they used on the outside, which I like to see. I feel like that's nice when I can, the two colors that are put in a palette that are similar-ish still look different. I always find it a little annoying when they're like the same thing type of issue. Anyway, I'm just using that lighter green to marry the two here. So yeah, that was going to be the first thing I was going to talk about. I really do hope that, you know, eventually down the road I do have the time, but it'll definitely be something that I will have the time to do, and, you know, also do my makeup. So like my makeup's done, it's like, oh look, I still have some time. I can start doing a hair care routine, because it was very time consuming. And like I said, I just have so much on my plate. That was one thing that I just let go during this season of my life, and maybe I'll pick it up in another season. What else? There was another thing that I remember thinking of as far as, oh yes, I was so excited. When we moved out here to the new homestead last winter, I was so excited to get a garden started, and I was going to do a spring garden, like an early spring garden, kind of winter spring garden, and then I was going to do a spring garden, and I was going to do a summer. And then in March-ish, I honestly forget, but I'm pretty sure it was March-ish, we got a dog, a puppy, And all of that went to the wayside. I planted a bunch of stuff right before we got him, and then I think maybe that first week I tried to finish planting the stuff that I wanted, and then I just kind of had to not face myself in the mirror, but like I had to sit there or like think to myself, like, you can't do it all, you gotta let something go. So I let the garden go. I tried to, when I could, like go out and water it and kind of weed it and, you know, stake stuff, but it was so sporadic that I actually had time to go out there and do that, along with taking care of a puppy, taking care of, I think my daughter was a little younger than 6 months when we first got him. Would not recommend that again. And then take care of the other animals that I had to let something go. So we got a few things from the garden that just by some miracle survived on it, like with no care, because like I said, I barely watered it, but for the majority of the stuff I just let go and had to let die. We did get carrots, which I was super excited about. We ate off of a lot of carrots in the early summer, so that was fun. The kids love carrots, but the cucumbers are definitely, I loved growing cucumbers, but they need a lot of TLC to make sure they're getting a lot of water every day, and then any insects and whatnot, they can really do a number here in Florida, and I didn't take care of them, so they all died. And the beans, we had so many beans year before last when we first bought this place, because I planted stuff before we even moved here because I was so excited to start, and we had so many beans growing in the garden that year. And I didn't take much care of it because we weren't living here at the time, and I was super pregnant and we were moving and renovating and stuff. So even being that busy, we were still able to get beans. But this year, there were no beans to be had. I think I have 1 or 2 plants that are still holding on by literally some miracle, because the summer was so hot. That's another thing. It was so hot this summer. If I had really wanted to have a garden, I would have been like watering twice a day. And while towards the end of the summer I've had time to go out and water things and whatnot, I gave up on the garden, just focused on watering the, we bought a bunch of bushes and trees, so I've been keeping them alive during the drought and not the garden. So yeah, it's just something that I had to give up this season. And as much as it, like, part of me really wanted to do it all and be able to do it all. Oh shoot, did I turn on? Oh goodness gracious, I thought I forgot to turn on my mic and I was about to cry. Okay, it's on. But yeah, as much as I really wanted to do it all, I had to. I think it was within a week of him being there. Maybe it was the second week. It was a rough few weeks when he first came, because I was so unprepared, I think, for what to expect, and it was so much, and just everything that was going on was just a lot for me at the time. I'm gonna take a little bit of the darker orange and put it in the inner corner. Yeah, I was like in denial for a little while, trying to get it all done, and I finally had to say, nope, you can't do it all, so like stop trying. And I did not do a garden this spring or summer. Okay, that's not, I mean, it's doing a little bit, but not really much. I'm gonna go into the lighter of the 2 greens and just bring it out. But yeah, I was really bummed about it, but as we're getting into the cooler months, I am itching so bad to do a garden. So I'm going to attempt it, and we'll see how it goes. I really would like to grow a couple cucumbers before it gets too cold, but I really just want to grow stuff. I want to do salad because here in Florida you can do a salad pretty much throughout the whole winter unless it gets super cold. They might, you know, die in a frost, but for the most part you can grow them well if you baby them in the coldest part of the year. But I want to grow salad, I want to grow broccoli, I want to grow more carrots. I am just itching to grow some things that we can eat, so we're gonna try it. And it's not really the best setup because our garden is just in our fenced in backyard, and it was great when we first moved in here. I thought it'd be great, but now having a dog, a big dog too, he's a Doberman if you're new to the channel, but having a big puppy, we don't really have like big raised beds to keep them out. They're just like a foot off the ground type of raised bed. It's mostly in ground with a little bit of soil on top to help it. But having them that, like, he just walks over them and he doesn't even realize he's walking over them because they're, like I said, they're so low to the ground. I don't have it fenced in or anything, so I anticipate having to find a lot of patience and take a lot of time to teach him to be off the beds. So we'll see if we can get anything to grow, but I just, like I said, I'm really itching to start growing things, so we're gonna give it a try. I have been growing on the side even through the summer. Someone gave me ground cherries. I never heard about them, but someone told me about them, and then I discovered that they grow really well here in Florida. you know, certain varieties. I found the variety, and someone in the local town met up and gave me some of theirs, and I had so much fun growing those. Oh, there were just a couple little pots. I think he gave us 3. And we grew them. They are so much fun because you eat them when they look like a little, is it tamil? I forget what the type of cherry or the tomato is called. But basically, it looks like a tomato, but it has a shell, like a paper shell encasing it. And it looks like that, but it's actually like more of a cherry. So it's like a really sweet, I kind of relate it to like a grape in the texture a little bit, but it's kind of like mild. It's not quite so sweet or so tart. It's a really nice little snack, and I loved it because it was so prolific. We could go out every day, not in the hottest summer because the summer definitely killed it, but in the spring before it got crazy in August, so was it, I guess, June and July. Anyway, we would go out every day and there'd be a couple of them, and when they're ready and ripe, they actually drop to the ground and then you just pick them up and eat them, and oh, it's so much fun. So the summer killed it because everything died in the summer, and the bugs, it wasn't really the heat, but the bugs, there were 2 different type of bugs that got hold of it and decimated it, and I tried to baby it back to life, but it didn't. But everywhere, anytime we ate it, we would always take the remains and I would bury it kind of into the dirt around where like the pot that had the ground cherry is, and then as the weather's been cooling down, all of those like little bits of seeds that survived have been shooting back up. So I've been taking those and repotting them, and we're getting really close to being able to eat our first ground cherry, and I'm so excited. So that's the only thing that I like gardened this summer. But I was so excited that I kept a little pot alive for a little while, but we're getting back into it. I'm gonna go into this green just because I'm always staring at it. I forget which one I used in the last look, but I didn't use the green, so we're going to dive into the green and put this on. But yeah, so gardening was something I had to give up that I was pretty bummed about. I haven't had a really nice like garden where it's like prolific, or like not prolific, but produced a lot. I've grown a couple things here and there, but I haven't had one to actually like just grow a bunch of stuff since like 2021, I guess. Was it 2021 or 2020? End of 2020 I started, and I think I grew in 2021, and then I got pregnant at the end of 21 with Sophia. I forget, but I'm excited to start growing some things. I am not a good gardener, but I like to try, and I am definitely a learn as you go type of person, so I am that person that grows and then like it's dying, it's floundering, and then I figure out how to get it to survive, and that's how I learned. Oh, this is such a pretty color. Should I do this all over? Yeah, I think I'll do this over the majority, and I'm gonna put a touch of this green on the outer edge just to add another color. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited to get back into it and jump back onto it. But I think those are the 2 big things that I feel like I used to talk to you guys a lot about on my YouTube channel, about like what I was growing and what I was, you know, what I was going to do with my hair and whatnot, and what was working for me. And then I just had to give them both up, so I just haven't mentioned it in forever on here. So I thought it'd be fun to chat about with you guys. But yeah, everything's going well. Like, I'm starting to be able to garden and stuff like that. Things are definitely getting easier with our puppy. He is, oh gosh, how old is he? 7, 8 months, and he's a Doberman, so he's got a ton of energy, but he is starting to get a little bit easier in that, like, he knows his, you know, he knows basic manners, basic commands, he knows how to behave. I can trust him pretty well to, like, if I tell him to do something, he'll do it type of thing. He's definitely entering his teenage era where, like, I'll tell him to do something and he'll just flat out refuse for no reason other than that he just doesn't feel like obeying. But for the most part, though, that's pretty a rare occurrence, and it usually kind of stems from, like, me not giving him enough attention throughout the day, or enough time to, like, work out some of his energy and whatnot. So it's kind of like one of those things where if we keep up and we're able to do our usual routine of exercise and mental stimulation and all that, he's great. But if we don't, then he definitely likes to get a little mischievous, and what I call his teenage era of just like, no, I'm not listening. I know what I should do, but I'm not listening. But for the most part, he is a pretty good, he's a really good, obedient dog. And we're continuing to try to, you know, help him be a well-rounded dog by taking him places around the town when I'm able to. which is a story time in and of itself. Like I could do a whole video talking about the times that I've taken him out, because the majority of the time, there are some times where it's just him and I will go out and do an errand so I can take him with me and get an errand done, but he is with me. But the majority of the time when I take him out, I am with all of my children by myself. And it's a lot. I'm gonna go in with that dark blue. Like I said, that dark shimmer blue is so pretty. So yeah, there's so many. Oh my goodness. I often think that like people who see me and watch me are just like so entertained by the chaos, because that is the only word that could describe what it's like to take a puppy who, he's pretty good with healing and listening, but still, like, you know, he's very excited and energetic, so he still needs a good eye on him, and he gets excited and will like spin around or, you know, break out of heel, and then I have to take the time to put him back into heel and stuff like that. But yeah, to have a dog and then 4 children, and Sophia's hit the age where she isn't like super content just hanging out in the carrier, so then I would put her in the stroller. But now, just this past week or 2, I think it's almost 2 weeks, but closer to 1 week, that she learned that she can climb out of things. So now you know, I've always strapped her in, but she will still figure out how to turn around in the shopping cart, even strapped in, and just be like stuck there because she's strapped in. So she turns around and then her butt kind of thankfully keeps her in place because of the buckle, but she'll just be like, you know, stuck and fussing and whatnot, trying to get out more. So I have to keep an eye on that. And then I have 2 boys who are, gosh, how old are they? 5 and 3, getting close to 6 and 4, but they're still 5 and 3 boys that are close in age and are just lots of energy. Like I talk about the Doberman having a lot of energy, my boys have a ton of energy. So trying to go into the store and act like we have some type of manners about us and can have some type of listening skills about us, it's a lot. And by the time I leave, especially when, like I said, when I take the dog, I am so tired by the time I leave. We get in the car and I'm just like, whew, we made it. So anyway, we're doing that with the dog. We've been doing that a lot, and he's doing really good. Like I said, he's I think he's around 8 months old. He's really great. Just yesterday, actually, you would have thought he was like maybe it wasn't yesterday, the day before yesterday, whatever. We had one of our pigs get out because she is a pain in the royal behind, but she had figured out that she can fit underneath our fencing area for the pigs, and we have electric fencing, and it's a pulse type of fencing. I don't know if you know anything about it, but basically it sends out a little electric shock that will do it in pulses. So typically pigs have very wet noses. They feel that once or twice and they know never to touch it. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other pigs who have done it. They're great. They never touch it. They never like test the fence. They're very obedient. And then we have this one pig who, if the charge ever gets a little weak because like it's like super dry out or there's stuff touching it, that can make the charge a little bit weaker. But if there's ever a weak point or a weak day, or if we're taking too long to get her the food and bring it to her, she just, I don't know, has thick skin or just doesn't care, but she'll go right under and push the fence up and then escape. So we've been dealing with trying to get different type of fencing, different type of support and whatnot to help keep her in so that she isn't like loose in the neighborhood. But anyway, we've been dealing with that a lot. But the other day, Zorro actually helped us reel her in, but herd her back in, which he's not a herding dog, but that's essentially what he did. He helped, because usually I have to either get food or I usually take like a stick and tap the side or the back side of the direction I want her to go. So if I want her to hang left, I'll tap, or hang right, I'll tap her left side kind of near her rear, and it gets her like in the direction I want her to go type of thing. But she doesn't listen very well, so it's always a big pain. But the other day, Zorro was out with us, and he was awesome. Like, he did not bite her, he did not get in her face, he did not hurt her at all, but he just went behind her as we were walking and kind of he was barking a little bit. He wasn't nipping at her, but he just used his presence really close to her anytime she slowed down to get her to go where we wanted. And whenever she went the opposite direction, he would like come around to make her turn the other direction, like a little herding dog. I was quite proud of him. I've been working with him with our chickens just because, like, you know, sometimes our chickens get out and it's nice to have him be able to help bring them in, because chickens are hard to corral. And so I've been working that with him because I don't want him to ever like actually bite them. So having to train him that he is allowed to use his presence to get them to do what he wants, or to get them to go where he wants, but he's not allowed to actually put his paws, because he has big paws or mouth on them. So he's had a little bit of experience whenever I've had an opportunity when he's out and I have a chicken I need help corralling. And we have free roaming roosters as well. That also helps him get experience with just like, there's chickens, there's flapping around. I'm not allowed to go chase them for fun. So he knows he's not allowed to use them for his toys. But this was his first time doing it with a pig, and he was so helpful because, like I said, I usually do it with a stick and just take the time to reroute her where I need her to be. But he made it so easy. She was back in that fence so quickly, and then we had to refix the fence because when she goes through, she loosens everything up. And anyway, I don't know why I was telling you all that. I think I was just telling you about him being a good herd dog. But yeah, that's a surprising little twist with him, because we got him mainly for our own personal protection with the children and us. Just to have a dog, you know, whenever we're going out, but also just to have a dog around the house as far as if people come on the property. Yeah, it's nice to have a commanding presence with a dog when people come, as far as also, you know, just protection, but also as an alarm bell, because he will alert me if he thinks I'm not aware of something, someone approaching us. So yeah, not only is he great at that, but also he's pretty good at herding. And I think his presence and his like peeing and pooping all over the place also helps keep the area fairly safe from predators, as far as them kind of coming around to get our animals. We had one of our roosters get attacked in the middle of the night, because he's not an outside dog, so he can't protect our animals in that capacity, and he's not really a livestock guardian dog. But just him kind of using the bathroom around the place can still help as far as like keeping predators away, because they'll smell the presence of a dog and it makes them less inclined to hang around, that type of thing. So we had one the other day get one of our tiny roosters, which I think is why he was able to successfully get him. Poor guy. But when he did that, like, Zorro was like going crazy over the scent of the area where he must have taken the bird, and he was peeing and pooping everywhere. We reinforced the spot where he got it, whatever got in. I think it was probably a raccoon or an armadillo, because it had to be something that could reach in to the fence and grab him. And also it was our tiny little guy, so I think that's why he was able to pull him through a certain area that had a bit of a larger opening. But anyway, he went crazy, and he went and put his scent all over that area of the fence. So hopefully that also helps that guy, or whatever it was, that predator, not come back. For the most part, we've been really fortunate that we don't have a big predator problem around here. Now, we do live where our property is. We're relatively close to like, our house is relatively close to our neighbor's house, even though we have several acres. For whatever reason, when the houses were built, they kind of built literally right next to each other, and we have skinny lots, if that makes sense, skinny amounts of acreage. So our acreage and our lot is like really long. Anyway, all that to say, we're close to our neighbors, and they have hound dogs who howl a lot. So honestly, that might help also in us not having a ton of predators around the area, just because we just walk outside. They're more used to us in that they don't bark all the time, but when we first moved here, every time we would go outside, they would just start howling. And they have more than one kind of at the back of their house, in their backyard area. They have, I hear at least 3, if not more. I don't see them. They're a dog house or whatever, dog castle, because it looks like a little shed. So wherever they live is pretty big and is kind of surrounded by woods. So I never really see them. We can see them through the woods, but we don't really get a good look at them. So I don't know how many they have. But anyway, all that to say, I think that helps us not have too many predators. And then, like I said, we have our own dog who pees and poops all over the place. So far we've been very fortunate in not losing very many. We did used to lose roosters right after we moved here, because we let them free range and we didn't lock them up at night. We would just let them roost where they wanted to. But I'm pretty sure an owl was getting them, because, okay, it just automatically stopped recording. I usually don't do all this on camera, but I'm just feeling chatty, so we're doing this on camera. Anyway, I think I was just saying that we had our roosters, our extra roosters, got taken at night, like, you know, every couple nights. And it was because we didn't lock them up. So I'm pretty sure it was an owl, because they used to just roost on top of the chicken coop area or on a branch near it. And if you didn't know, chickens are pretty blind and helpless at night. They can, especially roosters, they will defend themselves and run and squawk and be on guard and be on the lookout for hawks and whatnot, or predators during the day, but at night they don't see well and they don't move much. So like, an animal could just come up and take them, and none of the other animals would even like blink, because they just can't see well. They don't put up a fuss, so they would just, they're sitting ducks essentially at night. So when we started getting extra roosters to let them free range in the field to help keep the bugs down, I wanted to make sure we had some type of house that they could go into, that we could shut the door at night to protect them. And that's been working for 3-4 months. How long have we had them? Probably at least 4 months that we've had the extra roosters out in the field. And I don't know what it was. Ooh, doggone it. I don't know why all of a sudden, but like I said, the other night we had a couple bantam roosters, and one of them, I think because they were smaller, but one of them got taken. But it's been fine for, like I said, we've had them since June. So for the longest time it was fine. So I was surprised when I went out there that morning and we were one short and there were feathers everywhere. So we got it fortified now with more wiring, smaller wiring. So even if an animal could get its arm through, it's not going to pull a chicken through the wiring type of thing. So hopefully we won't lose any more. But yeah, I don't know why I was talking about that. I think I was just talking about Zorro being a great addition to our family. And you know, he's got a pretty big job to be our protector, and he takes his job so seriously. Like, we don't do any kind of training as far as like training him to be a protector. The Dobermans are just naturally very protective. Like, I was in the store the other day, and he usually does great. It's been a while, like probably when he was like 4 months old, that he's ever kind of growled or reacted to people around us. He's used to going places now, so he's very neutral when it comes to other people. He kind of just leaves them alone. He watches them, but he doesn't bark, he doesn't growl, that type of thing. But the other day when we were in the store, I was having a hard time with my children. Some of them, you know, listening. I was trying to check out. Something went wrong with the checking out process. She forgot to check out some things, so we had to like pause and, you know, go back and negate it, because we are already paid for it. So she had to like cancel that and add it all up, and it was just a little hectic. So I was very much preoccupied with my children and trying to get the checkout process done. And he was sitting there the whole time being great, just sitting in a sit and stay position waiting for me, and there was people coming up behind us to check out. And I think it was because I was so preoccupied with what I was doing in front of me. My back was turned, but he gave a couple like warning barks, not warning to them, but warning to me, like, hey, do you see that type of barks, to people who were coming up behind me. And like I said, he usually never barks when we're in public. And so even the lady was kind of like, well, what's he barking for? And I turned around and saw the people, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, he just wants me to know that there's people coming up behind me. But I think the reason he barked was because he saw that I was distracted and I wasn't paying attention behind me, and he wanted to make sure I knew that there were people coming up behind me. So yeah, he's super protective. And after I kind of acknowledged that, yep, there's people, you can be quiet, you know, just leave it, thank you, he was fine. He went back to being quiet and no issues. So he's been a great guard dog. And even like around our house and whatnot, we have a remote type of collar on him so that he can run around. But if we ever need a call, or if he ever needs to stop, because we don't have the whole area fenced in, I can use the collar to call him back. So he has pretty much free reign of our property to run around without like a leash on when we're home. And he is great. Like, even when people come to drop off the mail and whatnot, he'll sit there and he'll watch them. I think he kind of wants to go up and sniff them, but I just make him have a sit and stay position while they come and drop off mail. And some of them are very much like, is it okay to like approach? Do you want me to drop it off? And usually I'll like send one of my kids to grab it, or I'll have them drop it, you know, near the porch away from us type of thing. I'm gonna go into this one if they're feeling nervous, but overall he's been a really great addition to the household. I think the only thing that still just makes me tired is he's a high drive dog, which we knew going into it, but I also didn't know, because he's our first dog. I didn't know kind of like what to expect when it was like, you know, they have a lot of energy. I was like, okay, but like everyone talks about all puppies having a lot of energy, and now that we have him, I'm like, oh, okay, that type of energy. He just, I mean, thankfully we figured out a toy that he likes. He's gotten old enough to the point where he'll actually like, because I remember when we first got it, it was frustrating to tire him out because he wouldn't like play fetch. He would want to just play tug, which is like fine, that was a way to tire him out, but it like commanded a lot from me, because like you can't just play tug and like do other things while he's playing tug with you type of thing. But now that he's old enough, he loves to chase a certain type of ball that we got that's like on a string. I can chuck that as far as I can into the field and he will run, and then I can like do other stuff while he's running and bringing the ball back. And it's just been a lot easier. But yeah, I definitely like every single day I have to make sure I have at least 2, but often 2 if it's really hot, because in the summer he was not about it during the middle of the day. So usually in the morning, and then at night we'll have 2 sessions at least of where I just chuck that ball until he's tired. And he's great. Like if we give him those outlets to get nice and tired, he's great. So anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. He's a great dog. I should probably get going because I need to get my kids up and get ready for this party. But that is going to do it for this look. I've been talking so much, I haven't mentioned the look. It's a really pretty look. I like it. I'm going to put a little bit more of this quicksand on. This is from the Odin's Eye and Angelica collab. It's really pretty. It's just a little bit sheer, so I feel like I have to reapply more than maybe I would like, but it's really pretty. I do like it. And I was able to complete a look on camera because I was so chatty. This is a look I feel like I do a lot, but it's one of my favorite type of colors, the mustard, the yellow, the green. It's pretty. And I had absolutely no issues blending any of those colors out. I don't know if you saw or noticed. Hopefully you saw and noticed as we were talking, but I know I didn't mention it. So just want to say here at the end, all the mattes blended beautifully. All the shimmers are stunning. I will say the shimmer I used in the first video with this, which I think is this, did transfer all the way up into my brows, so I'll be curious to see if these do as well. And I did use glitter primer, this stuff, but I'll be curious to see if these stay put tonight. So with that said, that is going to do it for me. I'm over on Instagram at LadyKaty92 if you want to follow me over there. And yeah, with all that said, I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.